Yo, what's up, guys? It's Topics here, and I got a +9 Floodgate commentary for you guys. Um, Trying to get these commentaries out a little earlier than I did last season, just due to the fact that they're super helpful early on in the lower keys while people are learning. So we waited for the patrol to pass there, and then I'm gathering this entire pull. I'm going in with shield wall up because it's a big pull, popping all offensives. Then obviously I have to step out of the way of the gears. I try to tag this mob on the side because I do want to pull it in here, because that pack over there is easy. But for some reason it's like line of sight, and I couldn't really get aggro on it, so I get it now. Yeah, I guess you kind of got to be a little bit closer there to actually pull it in due to line of sight. So a little bit suboptimal because that first pack's kind of dead already. People's CDs are falling off, and this pack is finally in. So if I was able to get at that first taunt, probably would have been a little bit better. But either way, we're fine. We sended Lust here, just because it's a really big pull, and it's a while before you're at the first boss in this dungeon. So you definitely want to send Lust first pull. Never hold it, otherwise you're probably gonna lose a Lust. So and then one of my teammates is gonna click that explosives box. So this next pull here, pretty standard. Grab that 4-pack, this 3-pack, and this 2-pack. Group them up. Again, I'm going in with shield wall. And yeah, you're gonna want. There's a lot of kicks here. So just make sure you're kicking and stopping as much as you can. Again, Prot Warrior plays with the AoE kick, which is coming up here in a second. I believe I probably am going to use it. We'll see. Maybe I don't use it because the pull's almost over. But either way, you see that pack melted pretty well there. They do the surveying beams, the surveyors, which is like it's not that lethal of a cast, so if 1 or 2 go off, you're probably fine. Next, I'm pulling that pack across the little pond. And this other pack on the right side, and then you have to kill the scaffolding to get the architect to fall off here. So looks like I accidentally left one mob back there. It didn't come over when I taunted, and now my back's towards it, so I don't see it. Yeah, if you don't kill the architect before it does rapid construction, it'll hop back on the scaffolding. I don't know what happened there. It's supposed to go back on the scaffolding, but it didn't. But usually when it casts rapid construction, it'll go back on the scaffolding, and then you have to kill the scaffolding again. But alright, so next pull. In pugs, and especially early in the season, I recommend doing this split up. I know some groups pull everything in this room. Those other 5 mobs. But there's some stuff that jump around, and there's snipers that don't really move, so it's a little bit harder to gather. If you do try and gather all of this, I would tag in the farm mobs and group them on the snipers, because the snipers are hard to move. So that's what I would do. But I'm trying to play it safe. It's +9 pug. However, our team is doing really, really good damage. We're absolutely smoking this dungeon right now. So, yeah, you can see with the frontals by the inspectors, and then you have the snipers that need to be kicked and can't really be moved. This pull can be quite difficult. I suppose I will eventually start trying it on higher keys just to save time. But yeah, on a pug, I just didn't really see the need. So, turn it down a bit. Some background noise going on. See, we're just finishing this pull off. Alright, so we're going up here. I'm going to gather this 6-pack. See that sniper sitting over there sniping? That's what I meant with the previous pull. If you try and do everything at once, you got to kind of have some help to group those snipers. But anyway, yeah, just kicking these, pretty easy pack. I will say, all of these trash pulls are not that difficult at the start. The hardest one is the first one with Lust, right? Because you have all the saws that you have to step out of. This first boss is really the biggest challenge of the dungeon. So yeah, boss is going to cast Electro Crush. You can press a defensive. And then there's going to be a cast go off from one of the ads here, Maximum Distortion. You got to kick that. You do not want that to go off. I'm assuming on high keys that maybe is going to be a one shot, or wipe the group. There's also going to be a frontal that's casted here in a second called Sonic Boom. That gets pointed out of the group, and you want to move out of the way. But yeah, the Electro Crush Tank Buster, you can actually spell block the initial hit. You just can't do anything about the dot after. Here's the big AoE. This is a very long AoE, by the way. It's like 10 seconds, so this is going to be a major healing check on high keys for healers. A 10-second AoE is crazy. So yeah, like I was saying before, that Electro Crush, you can spell block the initial hit, and then there's like a magic dot that gets applied to you. You can't do anything about the magic dot. But like I said, if you spell block the initial hit, you could like shield wall the dot after to reduce its ticking damage a bit, because shield wall works on any type of damage. You could also spell reflect while the dot is up, because people forget spell reflect is a 25% magic DR, so that'll also help the dot not hurt as much. Yes, and that's just rinse and repeat, just dodging the frontals, dodging the stuff on the ground, kicking the ad when it casts, and pressing a defensive if you're a tank when the tank buster is cast on you. AoE doesn't really do much to you, that's more of a healer mechanic, so wouldn't really worry about that too much. Unless you're a tank with a party defensive, you could put down like AMZ or something like that if you're a DK. You could put down Darkness if you're a DH. Oh, it's looks like it's 11 seconds actually. This is a crazy AoE, so long. It's not doing much because this is a +9. Yeah, we're just gonna keep backing up because the boss, after he's done that big AoE, he'll leave lightning on the ground, and so you have to keep kiting him back. And the reason you want to start at the side we did and kite backwards, you'll see after the boss is done, we're going to go right up those stairs. So, you know, it just saves a little bit of time being in a better position. But I'm going to pull in these last two ads here. The boss is almost in execute range, and so fight's almost done, so we're going to pull in those ads. Some maximum distortion, I kick it. See, after the boss is done, we're going to go up these stairs, and there's another trash pack there, which is why you want to be on this side when the boss ends. Just saves you a little time. And also, you know, you want to be finishing the boss over here so you can grab those ads. So it kind of works out well if you position the boss like this. But you can see if you pull in those ads in execute range, they line up pretty perfectly for when the boss is actually going to die. So we're getting a third AoE here. I'm assuming on high keys you're definitely going to get a third AoE with the boss having more health. I think that's fine. You probably want to beat the fourth AoE, because you would also run out of room on the floor by then too. So anyway, we're going to come up here, we're going to kill these ads, we're going to click the explosives here again. You have to click all 5 explosives, by the way. It's kind of similar to Brackenhide Hollow. You have to open the cages. It's just part of the dungeon. You just have to open these, or have to click these. So anyways, this pack was very easy. I will say, I don't know if it's just the key is low or what, but like the trash in this dungeon is insanely easy. Maybe they designed it like that because the bosses are a little bit more difficult. This dungeon is probably one of the harder dungeons this season. Maybe hardest, maybe second hardest, something like that. Just because the bosses. But the trash is pretty easy. Speaking of trash, this pack is probably one of the harder packs. I would have to say. There's a kick. You have to stun the demolitionist reload, by the way. And then also the Blood Warper puts like a magic dot on you as a tank, but I've spell block up, so it's probably helping a little bit. I'm not 100% sure actually if it does anything, but I'd have to look. But I'm just noticing I'm not really taking much damage, so pulling the rest of this trash, and then once this trash is done, as you can see though, all those explosives on the ground, that's why I kind of chained into this, because it would have just been a lot to have all this trash together. If you do all this trash together, you could probably lust it, because we do have lust up. Might be a good second lust, just because instead of holding it. So yeah, pulling all this stuff all the way up the stairs to the end and doing like a giant pull here with lust is probably fine. But anyways, we're gonna hop on the glider, and we're gonna glide over to the right side. And there's going to be an architect here, so we're gonna have to kill the scaffolding. And I don't know why, but like, someone always pulls this far architect behind us. Watch, I think someone pulls it here. Again, yep. Or, okay, that wasn't the architect, but someone accidentally pulled some crabs. And not sure how all that other stuff got pulled. So we just have some giant pull here. I think the healer's like, oh crap, and he puts down Link. So... But you could see me targeting the bombshell crabs. I actually haven't pulled these before, so I wasn't like 100% sure what they do. I don't think they do much. I think they just like white swing the tank, but I do think they put a slow on you. So you see I have like 4 stacks of something right now. Right here. Oh, it's gone now. But anyways, I'm pretty sure that's a slow. So I don't think they do much. So if you do pull those, probably not a big deal. Yeah, someone probably just glided and landed a little bit too close. So now we're going to come over here and pull the other architect, just a smaller pull. And then I'm just going to talk about the next pull now, because this one's, you know, easy. There's 2 shredders at the top. They spawn saws under your feet, and they do a frontal. Plus there's other mobs close by that can get butt pulled. So if you can skip this, it'd be great. You can see I'm typing for the lock to gate. There's a specific way you want to put the gate. You guys can look how the lock does it. Yeah, lock gate is obviously the easy way to skip. You can also have a priest fade and walk through up the stairs and grip people on like a 3-person mount. I haven't tried leaping. I probably could. You could also have like evoker rescue everybody on a 3-person mount, but those are probably the only 3 ways to skip, is with a priest, an evoker, or a lock. But so then we go to second boss, we lust. If you didn't lust that huge trash pull before the glider, you can lust this boss, is fine. This boss is very scripted. The one guy, Prot, is going to charge at you, and you have to get him to hit bombs. So you basically just stand behind bombs, and he will charge at you. And if you can hit more than 1 bomb and charge, do it. Like if you can line him up where he's hitting more than 1 bomb, go ahead. As you can see, I'm standing behind the bomb here, and then you just move out of the way. He destroys the bomb, and that's it. This is probably the easiest boss in the dungeon, in my opinion. You're literally just dodging those beams, dodging the puddles, and then aiming the frontal accordingly so that it hits as many bombs as possible. So yeah, they don't share a health pool, I don't believe. I don't think there's that much of a penalty if you don't kill them together. It's really not that big of a deal. But I'm just trying to kite them together so that we can get some cleave damage going. I actually failed this, because I was not near a bomb, and that's my fault. So, yeah, the problem if you leave too many bombs up is the boss is going to cast something here in a second. Yeah, it's called Big Bada Boom or something like that. If there's too many bombs up when the boss casts that, you're probably going to wipe on high keys. So you can maybe live with 1 bomb still up, but you want to try and get them all down if possible. So you see the healer got 2 bombs there. I think I'm gonna get 2 bombs here too. Oh no, I missed the one by the wall. But that's fine because the boss is dead. So now we're gonna click the last explosive crate here, and then we're gonna head down to the water for the 3rd boss. 3rd boss is probably the hardest boss, I would say. The 4th one is pretty hard too. I would give the 3rd one a slight edge. It seems to be what most pugs are wiping on. I don't know why it wasn't letting me take the gate here, but someone's mount was in the way. I'm going to pull 3 of these divers. I'm waiting for the one to kite away a bit, so I just do a taunt because I don't want to get too much aggro. There's a harpoon cast that they use, and so pulling all 6 of them can be kind of sketchy. In my current route, we only need 3, so I'm just pulling 3, kicking the harpoon. It basically just does single target damage at someone, but it's a lot of damage, so you don't want that to go off. The plant Sephorium there is just putting bombs on the ground. It's not that lethal if it goes off, you just want to make sure you're not in the circles, but we just, I guess, are interrupting them just to flex, I guess. So, next we're going to pull the kelp. At first I thought I could pull a few of them, but they have like a shared aggro table, so if you pull one of them, they're all going to run towards you. You also need stops here. You can see how many casts are about to go off. So, rejuvenating algae is a heal, so they're going to continue healing themselves if they get that off. And the heal is actually pretty big. It's like 20% or something, so if they're spamming that, they're just going to constantly be healing themselves and they're going to be healthy, so you got to kick all that. But other than that, it's a pretty easy pack. And then after this is done, we're going to blow up the bomb by the wall, which triggers the 3rd boss. And I typed left in the chat. I just mean move left. For the tank, it doesn't really matter because I don't get tethered to anybody, but the 3 DPS and healer will be tethered in 2 groups. And it's kind of like a Sludge Fist if you did Castle Nathria raid. If you move too far away from the person you're tethered to, it's going to snap you back together and do a ton of damage. That Sludge Claw is the tank buster. You want to use defensive on that. Mudslide, move out of the way. And then, yeah. So you can see they're tethered here off to the side, right here. And they're moving left, like we talked about. And now they're dodging waves. But yeah, I think on high keys, if you're tethered and you move too far apart and you get snapped back together, it might one-shot kill you both. So that's going to be pretty tough on high keys. So yeah, other than that, the boss is just scripted. Dodge the frontal, press a defensive on the tank buster, and then when he casts Awake in the swamp here, there's going to be puddles that shoot out from all those circles. So you can kind of see, I get hit by a couple here, I think. Thankfully I'm a tank, and it doesn't do much, but still on high keys I feel like I probably will not want to get hit by that. It'll be a one-shot. But we're all learning, right? Also, that mudslide, you can actually spell reflect it. At least this is what I know from looking at Sense's spell reflect sheet that I have been using. If you guys want a list of what can be spell reflected and spell blocked, look at my Prot Warrior guide in the description of this video, and I have a link to Sense's spell reflect and spell block spreadsheet. So he's doing the nasty work for the warrior community, so shout out. That's a lot of work to put that all together. But yeah, the Awaken the Swamp is also an AoE, so very difficult for healers because remember, the healer is tethered to a DPS. They're also trying to dodge these puddles while not move too far from their partner, and they're trying to heal that huge AoE, so I truly believe the Awaken the Swamp will be, and I'm careful to say this, but it may actually be the hardest healing check in the entire season. If it were just an AoE heal, it wouldn't be a big deal, but it's the fact that you're dodging puddles, plus you're gripped to your partner and cannot move too far from them. You're really juggling 3 very difficult mental tasks at once. So, to finish this boss off, we're going to head down into the tunnel to continue with the last part of the dungeon. Saw the healer was low, so I told him to sip, but he's like, go, go, go! So yeah, mini boss is gonna spawn bubbles. Two things about this guy. He does a frontal that you're gonna want to dodge, and he does this bubble burp. So if you, there's the frontal there, splish splash. If you get hit, if you walk into a bubble, you could potentially die. So just do not walk into a bubble. That's all I have to say about that. There ends up being a lot of them, so it can get quite difficult. They don't move around too much, move around a little bit. I think the only risk of running into a bubble is if you're trying to dodge the frontal and you hit a bubble. But yeah, just dodge the frontal, don't walk into a bubble. If you're playing Prot Warrior, you can actually spell reflect the tank buster. He does do a tank buster called backwash. You're not going to see another caster, but yeah, you can spell reflect the tank buster from that guy. So next I'm going to go over here and kick the caster to group him in. We're just going to do this 4-pack because there's a caster and there's also a frontal. I think it's just safer in pugs to maybe just do this 4-pack before we pull in the big guy. But yeah, now the caster is dead, I'm going to pull in the big guy. The jump starters can be quite dangerous if you're pulling them with a lot of things. If you're not, he's probably fine. As you can see, the jump starter does a lot of AoE on the ground, so you know, if you pull him with the caster plus the frontal guy, it can be kind of dangerous. Looks like one of my team members aggroed this other stuff, but that's fine because I was going to pull in the pad anyway when it got here. Yeah, so now we actually have the caster, the frontal guy, which is the inspector, and the jump starter that does an AoE. But we're going to be fine.
A gift of power.
After we're done this pack, I'm going to turn the corner up there. We're going to go all the way through the door, and then we're going to do a 4-pack. So pull these two guys, go through the doorway, and pull the 2 inspectors. This is a pretty easy pull, but you would not want to keep going and pull it with those 2 casters, I don't think. That'd be a little bit much. Because then you'd have like 2 frontals, 2 casters, and a jump starter. It would be a little bit much. Now, if you are playing with a coordinated group, you can skip this pack up here. You can Mind Soothe and hug the wall, but we do not have a priest. So we're just going to pull it. You can actually like Ring of Peace and Paralysis. You can Imprison. If you do those things, you really, really have to hug the wall tight. If you come apart from the wall at all, you're going to aggro. It's very, very tight trying to get past here. But I didn't pull the percentage before this to skip this, so we're just going to do it. This pack's really not a big deal. It's just 2 casters and then dodging some AoE on the ground. But since it's only a 3-pack, it's not that efficient, which is why I think a lot of groups are skipping it. Yeah, so we're going to pull these last 2 guys. Double jump starter is a tough heal check. I mean, obviously, we're just dodging puddles, but for the healer, there's constant AoE damage going out. It would not shock me if high-key teams send Lust on this pull. Just to prevent their healer from going dry or sending too many healing cooldowns on this, because you're probably going to want some healing cooldowns for the last boss, because the last boss also has pulsing AoE during one of its phases. So anyway, you can see the timer's pretty good. We have like 8 minutes left. We're about to pull boss, so I think with this team we had such good DPS and it was a pretty clean run. You know, we could have probably done a 10 with this team, potentially even an 11. But yeah. So yeah, we're gonna send Lust on this guy. And as a tank, you want to position your back against the console. There's also like a little console over here and one over here. If you need to position there too, you can. I'll tell you why in a bit, but right now the AoE's going on, you're just dodging beams. AoE, this is the healer topping everyone up. Thunder Punch is the tank buster. You're going to want to press a defensive, and it's going to knock you back, which is why my back is facing the console. So there you go. And your group's going to want to make sure they don't touch any puddles with that electric circle that just went out, otherwise they're going to electrify them, and you don't want them electrified, because if they are, you cannot kite your spark into them. So I marked this puddle because that's where I'm going to kite my spark into, so there you go. My spark was kited into it. Now I'm going to go position against the console again because the tank buster is coming up. So, boom. And it's just rinse and repeat from there. You guys have seen the entire fight. Press the defensive on the tank buster, get knocked back into the console, dodge the beams during the AoE phase, and then just kite your spark into a puddle. Typically, the group should be leaving the close puddle for the tank because the tank should not be having to run around the entire room to find a puddle. The reason why is because you can end up in a really bad spot if you're kiting the whole room to get to a puddle, and then the tank buster could come out and you're going to get knocked back. You can get knocked into a puddle and stunned. You could get knocked off the platform because, yes, you can actually get knocked off the platform. So I marked this again because that's where I'm going to be cutting my spark to the close one. So you can see the spark jumping towards me over there with the red arrow. There, it's on the puddle. So now I'm going to reposition myself again for the tank buster, press wall, boom. And yeah, that's pretty much the whole fight. We're going to kill this guy off. We're going to have a ton of time left in the dungeon. Our healer was goated here, so was our DPS. We actually finished this with 0 deaths this run. So I was, trust me, doing the new dungeon, which is actually quite hard for a lot of people, 0 deaths. I was super happy with this run. So hope you guys enjoyed this commentary as I take one last tank buster. Yeah, let me know in the comments below. If you like these videos, how are you enjoying the season so far? How do you like the new dungeon Floodgate? It's actually growing on me a lot. And so is Priory of the Sacred Flame. It's funny because they're the two dungeons that people weren't liking too much on the PTR. They're kind of harder, but I don't know.